Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review On the Basis of Sex. So yesterday, I'm going to call early screening day, because there's a special early screening of two films that I wound up getting to go see, including this. And I got to see this at the Princeton Garden Theater as an early screening, and I thought I wasn't going to be seeing this until most likely early January, but it's early December, and I got to check it out. And big takeaways off the bat, this film about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and this one case that turned around the idea of sex discrimination in the law. And Felicity Jones was great. It was emotional, it was a powerful and important story, and those were some of the big takeaways of this film. And Mimi Leder, who directed this film, for a 2-hour film, this has perfect pacing. It goes along. Never felt bored watching this film, and I felt like it had a nice natural progression about it. We were going along, feeling the story. The storytelling was fleshed out nicely throughout, and I felt like this was a nicely crafted film. Emotionally, there are some moments that really felt it, and the performances really helped from Felicity Jones and Armie Hammer, but this was an emotionally resonating film. And I felt connected to Ruth Bader Ginsburg as the character in this film and her plight and what she's trying to do. And her growing relationship with her daughter I thought was important and powerful. And her coming across her own adversity and trying to reach her own dreams I thought was inspiring. And overall, I'm going to recommend this because I think it's an important film. Not only because of the politics or the laws that this is trying to talk about, but I think from her perspective, her growth in chasing her dreams and overcoming adversity, I think is such a great universal theme that I think this is a film worth seeing just for that. And it's very inspiring. And in terms of the story, Daniel Stiepelman is the writer of this film, and I feel like there's some very powerful, depthful leads in this film. There's some good arcs and some important themes and powerful words that go into this film. And I think those are the real standouts from the writing, because there were some shortcomings. There was points where, which I really hate in historical films, where it's blah blah blah, blah blah blah, hinting at the future. And it really smugly winks at the camera, and it's just like, oh, now I'm out of the movie. So like you're in the escapism, you're really engaged in the story, and then they take you out, they just pull you out, and you're just out of the film at that point, and then you have to find your way back in, and there's quite a few moments of that, and the dialogue was cheesy at moments, and that bothered me. And then a lot of the antagonistic characters in this are so one-dimensional and cartoonish. I compared this to Battle of the Sexes that came out last year about Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs. And how Bobby Riggs is like portrayed as this really sexist pig. And he eats it up, he plays it up, and he could have been a caricature. But you really get to see another side of him where you understand him. And that you realize that there's a lot more to him than just that. In this film, every antagonist, whether it's Stephen Root, Jake Rayner, Sam Waterston, these judges for the most part, they're all there, and all they get is, we're sexist, and everything we say is sexist. Men! And it's just like, yeah, people did say things like that. And what would have been a lot more interesting is, like, good men, but also displaying the fact that it's like, there's an inherent sexism at that point. And having that complex, more interesting take on things. But they go simplistic, and it takes a little bit out of the movie for me. But in general, what you're fighting for in this film is so engaging and interesting, I get past that. And despite like these one-dimensional performances, Felicity Jones is so great in this film. She shows a great range of emotions, powerful and vulnerable, and emotional and strong all at the same time. And she's really the anchor of this film. And then you have Armie Hammer playing her husband, who's ridiculously charming. Oh my god, in this film and in general. But he just like oozes charisma. But there's some really emotional moments for his character too that he really gets to show. And like Justin Theroux's a bit hit or miss for me in this film, like he is in most things for me. But overall, our two main leads and who plays Kaylee Spaney, who plays Jane Ginsburg, their daughter. Huh, I didn't realize that was the girl from the New Pacific Rim or Bad Times at the El Royale. Okay. But I thought she was really good, and she held her own on screen and was a powerful young woman, and I thought her relationship with her mother, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, was great, and I thought that was one of the best parts of the film. The cinematography, I don't think there was anything particularly special about this film and how it was shot, but the music, which I thought was interesting, which was done by Michael Dana. There's a lot of like drum rolls, like college football kind of like drumming marching band stuff, and I thought that was an interesting thing to capture the times. But there's also a thematic and story connection in it that makes sense later in the film when you learn some things. I'm like, huh, I really like that. I appreciate detail like that. See, that's good filmmaking. And stuff like that made me happy. Overall, I think this was a really well done film. Do I think this like cracks into that top tier, like this is going to be a big Oscar film? It could be because of what it's about, honestly. This gets really close, and I really enjoyed this film. I think it had a lot going for it. I would watch it again. I really enjoyed it. And more importantly, I think it's an important film, so I'd highly recommend seeing it anyway. And let me know what you think. Do you agree with some of the shortcomings that I brought up? Or were you just fully enthralled with this film? Or did you hate it? I don't know. That's the glory of film. Let me know what you think. Comment. Let's talk movies. And thank you as always for supporting your Wasteland reviewer.